age. What gives you the right to lay with another woman's husband?
I am ashamed.
You are unbelievable. You have a husband. You have a family.
You say that you have raw feelings for him that are very strong, and you want to be with him. So why haven't you left to be with him?
Every day I hope I'll wake up and my feelings for Brad will lessen and I'll be able to put it back together with my husband.
And do you want to stay with him?
I'm not so sure I do anymore.
See, we've had 40 affairs, 19 during the marriage. Are you number 40? No, I'm serious.
I believe I'm different. I believe that he loves me. He didn't love the other ones.
She says she fully intends to take your husband, and she's here to achieve that today.
I'm to the point now where, you know what, you can have him. I'll bring his dirty laundry over. You take it.
You've got to know you are a high-risk, damaged goods sexual addict.
It certainly appears that I'm in control and I'm making the decisions here, but I think we have 4 people here that are afraid to make a decision.
Really? When you stack the priority list in your life, where do the kids come?
I thought I can keep the family together, I can raise my children, and I'm meeting some other needs over here.
So you just thought it wouldn't impact the children?
I would love nothing more than to be the perfect husband and father.
I mean, I assume there's part of you that either thinks that this is going to wind up in a really bad place at some point if you don't stop it, or you are so gutless that you're trying to get her to make the decision. I'm trying to get you two to at least own where you are. Just be honest. You want her husband. You've said it. You tell her last night the affair's not over. You get hysterically upset. You say, all right, I want separate rooms. And you promptly call her and meet her down on the street.
Right.
Now, come on. And then you say, well, you know, gee, actually, I think that I may need to consider the alternatives here. That's a load of crap. You got separate rooms so you could go meet her. I'm just wondering, why is it his choice? Why do you have such low self-esteem, such low self-worth, that you've got to be there saying, pick me, instead of don't let the door hit you in the ass, buddy? We're talking to Brad and his wife, Michelle, and his girlfriend, who is going by the name Sarah. It's a complicated triangle. Now, there was so much to talk about that we're continuing with them because I think there is real need here. I think there are lives that can be crumpled up and thrown away here, beginning with the children, because 2 people involved are giving themselves permission to not only do what their impulses tell them to do, but I think in a complete and selfish disregard for its impact on everybody else. Now, Brad, in everything we've been over, we've been over what I call your resume, your history as a relationship partner. We've been over the history of this relationship back and forth. You say, I don't know if I even want to have anything to do with him anymore. Is that a knee-jerk hurt feeling, or is the fog lifting from around your head?
I don't know.
I mean, is it really? Does she say this in anger sometimes?
Yes.
Yeah.
You said this before.
Yes. Yes.
All right, walk me through this. You leave here, and you go home, and you stay in the relationship. What's going to happen?
This is going to continue.
Mm-hmm. You would agree with that, right?
So far, we haven't been able to stay away from each other.
You would agree with that, right?
I would say the probability is high.
Okay, so these 2 people are telling you that they have been having a mental, emotional, sexual affair. at your house, in the car, in hotels, any place you can carve out a niche, and they're telling you they're going to continue that. What do you say to that?
I'm not going to put up with it. I will back out and let them have their way. You know, I'll divorce him. You can have him. Have each other. Have a great life.
Okay, but you've said that before, and I ask you if that's just a knee-jerk reaction.
No,
is there a point at which you say, you know what, I deserve, my children deserve better than this?
Yes. Most definitely.
Is there a point at which you say, Brad may have no boundaries, but I do. And my boundaries say, you either treat me with integrity, dignity, and respect, or you don't treat me at all. Now, how do you feel about my saying that? How do those words fit in your ear?
They sound really good.
Why?
Because I've never said that to him before. And I've never really looked at it from my perspective. I've really never thought about...
How does it feel as you look at it from your perspective now?
It feels like I can make a stand and stand up for myself instead of allowing him to continue to knock me down and push me down and treat me that way. The way he has treated me has been horrible. And I don't have to put up with it anymore.
Hold that thought. Do you think that she will ever actually divorce you?
I don't know the answer to that. I really don't.
Do you think she should?
Yes, I do.
You think she should divorce you, get away from you, and have nothing further to do with you?
I think for her well-being, for her emotional well-being, that would be the best thing for her.
Do you believe that if she does that, because you understand that one of my theories is you want her to kick you out so you don't have to make the decision.
I understand that you think that.
Do you agree?
No, I don't completely agree.
Okay, you don't agree. Okay, let's assume that she does that. Let's say you get the easy way out. She says, I'm out of here, you do what you want. At one level, that would be a happy day for you, wouldn't it? Because you'd say, problem solved. I'm free to pursue what I seem to be obsessed with.
Right.
So that would be, at one level, that would be a freeing day for you, right?
Yeah, that's it.
At another level,
right,
it would be a tragic day because of your children and your family and
right,
finance and all of that. But you'd be green light to just go get her.
right.
Okay? Do you think that 5 years down the road, you would be married to her, living happily ever after in a little cottage somewhere? Is that what you would predict?
I'm realistic that there's a honeymoon period and you know, marriage takes its toll. I'm realistic with that.
But now answer my question. Do you think 5 years down the road, the two of you would be together?
I believe that.
You believe that? Okay. Now let me get your position. If she does what I think she is really spooling up to do and says, not just in word but deed, you want him, you got him. Do you predict that the two of you would be together 5 years from now?
Yes.
You say yes. I'll tell you what I think when we come back. We're talking to Brad, his wife Michelle, and his mistress, girlfriend, other woman, however you want to describe it, who is going by the name of Sarah. One of your questions was, do we realistically have a future here? My prediction is that if you actually once were free and got married, you would become Michelle. And you would line them up just like you've been lining them up with your current wife. Because the best predictor of future behavior is past behavior. And barring some major change, and I know you say, but he loves me. He loves me. Don't kid yourself, girl. This ain't about you. And it's really not about you. You have a serious problem here. Now, we can call it sexual addiction. We can call it inadequate personality. We can call it used to be a stud in high school, lost my hair, and have to keep proving my virility. Took a lot of courage for me to say that. Whatever label you want to put on it, you are functioning at an incredibly immature level. Okay? It's a level at which impulse controls instead of impulses are controlled. And it sounds so trite for me to say, Michelle, don't personalize this, what's happening, because, I mean, how much more personal could it be to have your marriage ripped apart, have your husband cheating on you, lying to you, stealing time, effort, energy, money, everything that could be invested in the family being invested in some interloper? That's a pretty personal affront. But when I say don't take it personal, I mean this has nothing to do with you. You could be the most wonderful, just punch it up on a computer, what you would think would be the perfect woman. And it wouldn't matter. Because the truth is, you are an intelligent, articulate, beautiful, vibrant woman. It isn't about you. This isn't about your inadequacies. Why is that so hard for you to hear when I said that?
Several reasons. Number one, I've been led to believe that it's partially my fault. It's problems in our relationship. It's, and I've wanted to believe that it was his personal issues, his personal struggles, his personal problems. But I battle with that because, I have him telling me it's our marriage, it's me, and so just hearing it.
But you've sat here today as I've talked to these two and asked questions where I have direct verbatim quotes typed up of what they've said. Well, sort of, maybe, kind of, almost, sort of, I don't, like that. I mean, it's like trying to sack fog. It's like nailing Jell-O to the wall. I mean, you're very elusive in ownership. That should tell you that when he's coming to you and saying, I'm doing this because you don't talk, you won't share, you aren't energetic, you aren't electric, you aren't charismatic. What he's saying is, I'm immature, I don't know what I want, I can't control my impulses, I'm going to reach for something. But he's just dumping it on you. At least have the decency to tell this woman in all honesty and candor that you own your choices, not her.
I have told her that.
I mean, really.
I have told her that.
You need to tell her
I have said to her exactly what you said to her. I don't say, oh, this is all your fault and browbeat her.
You own your impulses, correct?
Correct.
I mean, you get that. Listen, have you been a perfect wife? I don't know. I haven't been over at your house, but I'll bet you're not. That has nothing to do with him making the immature, inappropriate, self-destructive choice to turn away from his partner to someone else to bridge pain, loneliness, hurt, gap, whatever. You never fix a problem in a relationship by turning to someone else. Bad choice. That's the problem. So it has nothing to do with you. And him being after you has nothing to do with you. Now, you may think that you're just the Juliet to his Romeo, and this is that y'all are just, you finally found your soulmates. But let me promise you, that's not what it's about. He is after you because he can. He's after you because right now it feels good while he's doing it. You know, the line in the song, the best part of love is the thinnest slice. He gets a whole loaf home. You may not be as shiny as he thinks you are now. And he may not be near as charismatic as you think he is because you hadn't taken care of him with the flu yet. I haven't really answered what I think the chances are and where I do think you'll be in 5 years or 5 months, for that matter, if you, in fact, pull the ripcord here and bail out of this thing. But what I know is these people all live blocks apart. When they get back home, they're going to continue to see each other. Their children are going to be crossing paths. What's going to happen? What's the future hold? And what does each of these people need to put on their list of things to do when we come back? We've been talking about unraveling a complicated affair that affects 2 marriages. These women each had a baby within 24 days of one another with the same man, Michelle's husband, Brad. Statistically, the chance that you two will have a successful relationship after you leave is probably not 1 in 100. A marriage that starts in infidelity, what kind of foundation is that? Then having to try to manage your exes and go through custody battles for children and all of that sort of thing. And if you think for a minute that a court is likely to regard you in a very positive way in terms of conservatorship for your children, given the genesis of your marital breakup and where you're headed, don't you think they might have a problem with your judgment and predicting the quality with which you might mother your children?
Yeah, I've thought about that.
How would you feel about leaving your home and your children staying behind with your husband?
That just would never happen.
Pardon me?
I won't let that ever happen. I would never leave my children. That's one thing I know my husband knows. I'm a good mother. He would never, I don't think, ever try to take the children away from me.
People change when they get in that divorce court. I mean, seriously, you need to think about the fact that right now, you feel in power and you feel in control because you're the one that's being sought after and pursued. But once he realizes and decides that you're out the door and you're going with him, then he just may decide, I'll be damned if that boy's going to raise my children. You're putting your children in play. Do you get that?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you enter the divorce arena in the midst of infidelity, in the midst of double infidelity, and a husband that says, I don't want the man that stole my wife, in fact, stealing my children. I'm going to fight tooth and nail to keep them. You have put your children at play. You put them up on the table. You're up there playing blackjack. You threw your kids up on the table. Tell me how you feel about that.
I guess I've never really thought about it like that. That it really could happen. It scares me to death.
Well, you say you've never really thought about that. Is it that you're so in control of a fairly passive husband that you think you just dictate all the terms and conditions of what happens? I was doing a show on marriage, and I said, we tend to marry one person, but we divorce another. You know, the old boy you married and that you kind of got following you around hoping you'll let him stay just might find a little different attitude if you start loading his children up to take them to the man that destroyed his home. You reckon he might have a little fight in him?
Yeah, I think you're right.
So, I mean, is he worth it? Is he worth putting your kids at play?
No, my kids come first.
What right do you have to be sleeping with her husband's wife?
I have no right.
What right do you have to be fracturing the family unit in which her innocent children are growing every day just to feed your need?
I have no right.
I mean, I'm sure this is all fun and exciting and taboo, and you're rendezvousing and giggling, and everything's just all hunky-dory fun. But you know, everything, when you get to the end of the old line at the cafeteria there's a cashier. You know, you can just eat your way through the pie section, but you're going to get down there and you're going to have to pay up. We'll be right back. We've been trying to sort out what's going to happen with an affair between Brad and Sarah. Now, his wife, Michelle, has said, you can have him. I've had it up to here. Don't want it no more, no how, no way. Now, Sarah has not told the whole truth to her family. I mean, everybody here is living in deception and lies. One of the things you said is, what do I do with all this guilt? And interestingly enough, I do believe that you have guilt about this. I think you are very wishy-washy. I think you go one side of saying, I'm going to go do this, and then probably right after you feel guilty, then, I think you flip-flop back and forth. I think that's part of the immaturity, emotional immaturity. And I'm not saying that to insult you. I'm saying it as a commentary on your conduct.
I understand that.
But I guess what I'm saying is, have you considered that the best way to assuage your guilt is to stop transgressing? I mean, stop the bleeding first.
Right.
Okay, you got to get out of this thing. And you keep saying, both of you keep saying, well, we just can't help it. Move. If you have to, get away from, if you're so out of control that you just like a moth to flame, then get away from the candle.
We've discussed that.
I mean,
know that they've discussed that.
Really, and I'm not saying that fixes your problem. It's just Sarah becomes Sue, and Sue becomes Carol, and Carol becomes whoever. What this amounts to is you need serious professional help. It may not be in time to save your marriage and your family, but I think what you have to do is get to the bottom of why you are the way you are. And you are the way you are because you never matured beyond a certain point emotionally. And I have some pretty good theories of why that we can talk about at some point, but I'm not really here about why today as much as I am about how. How you get out of this self-destructive, other-destructive mode. And you need help figuring out, because we all grow. We grow mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, every way. And you continue to grow mentally. You continued to grow physically, but you were arrested in your growth emotionally to the point that you didn't develop those internal controls to tell yourself no. The ability to predict where you're going. And unless and until you do that, you're going to continue to victimize everybody that you touch, because you'll be controlled by impulses rather than values. Does that make sense?
It makes absolute perfect sense.
Because your values, you can express values that you want to embrace, correct?
Correct.
But yet you have impulses that dominate your behavior.
Right.
And you need help to get that underway. I will help you get that help if you will take that help.
Yeah, absolutely.
What I won't do is help you get help with him, because he has issues he has to resolve individually that have nothing to do with you. And I'm going to tell you what I think you need to do when we come back. Closed captioning provided by We're trying to bring a conclusion to this complicated affair. When I say conclusion, this is destructive. It's destructive to everybody involved. There's 2 marriages at stake. Children are on both sides. What's going to happen when they go home? When you leave here, what are you going to do?
I'm not sure.
What do you want to do? In a perfect world, what would happen?
In a perfect world, he would get the help he needs. Our marriage can be saved. But I'm not sure that that's feasible.
Mm-hmm. But in a perfect world, you would like to see the relationship healed, and you would like to see him healed, and you'd like to see her gone.
Oh, definitely.
Out of the relationship, not in your space. Do you think your children would benefit from that?
Yes.
Do you think that in addition to putting your children in play, that you are damaging this woman's children by what you're doing? Do you recognize that you are an enemy of her children?
Yes, I do.
How do you feel about that?
Not good. Not good at all.
How would you feel if she was an enemy of your children? If she was on a mission to destroy their peace, their harmony, their home? How would you feel about her if she was on a mission to, because your children are happy children, right?
Yes.
And they have their little rooms, and they have their friends and their hobbies and their things that they love, and they like to get, ready for bed at night, and it's all kind of cozy and warm around there. If she was on a mission to destroy that and rip it apart, how would you feel?
I never thought of it like that. I can imagine how much hatred she has. And I don't blame her a bit. I feel the same way.
Is that not exactly what you're doing? Yeah. Are you not on a mission to take the peace, harmony, and tranquility that her children now enjoy and rip it apart?
But how do I stay away from him? How do I get him out of my life? How do I...
But first you acknowledge who you are and what you're doing. Do you acknowledge that you are an enemy of her children, an enemy of her home?
Yes, I acknowledge that. I take full responsibility for what I've done.
Now let me ask you this. You said he loves you, right?
Yes.
If he loves you, would he put you in the position you find yourself today? If the man loves you, would he put you in a position of being a fearful, guilt-ridden interloper that is nothing short of the enemy of this woman's children? If he loved you, would he do that?
No.
You see, to love someone is to put their interest ahead of your own. To do what is best for them, to nurture them, to help them, to make them a better person, a better citizen, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, in every way, to lift them up to be better at being who they are. And instead, he has you in the back seat of a car, sneaking around in a hotel and attacking her family. If that's love, leave me out. I mean, I'm telling you the truth as I see it. Do you agree? Do you think you have compromised this woman and her integrity and her position in life in order to serve your impulse needs?
I would have to agree with that after having this conversation today.
Is that not amazingly selfish?
Oh, absolutely.
What do you think, sis? How am I doing?
You're doing a great job.
Stop.
No, don't stop.
I'm calling it as I see it. Stop me if I run a red light here.
No, and we've talked about that. I mean, we have.
Okay, well, now let's stop talking about it and let's start doing something about it. Let's start making a decision to disengage. Let's seriously make a decision to disengage. Are you going to grieve that loss? Sure you will. That's part of the emotional growing you need to do, because what you do now is seek pleasure and avoid pain. But let me tell you, life is about sacrifice. It's about pain. We'll be right back. We've been talking to Brad, Michelle, about his affair with Sarah. And we're getting to a point that you have to make a decision to walk out of this deception, to walk out of this emotional quagmire, and do something different than what you've been doing before. What I want to know is that I want you to know, I've said probably 10 things to you today that you said, I never really thought about it that way. I never really thought about it from that point of view. You said a few minutes ago, after having this conversation, I see this differently. So, armed with that point of view, armed with that perspective, do you care enough about your children and their safety and security, mentally and emotionally and environmentally, to withdraw from this situation, put all of your interest and energy into their well-being, and seek to heal your marriage?
Yes, I want to.
It's just a matter of whether you want to be a slave to your lust and your impulses, or you want to be devoted to your children and your family. And to me, that's a pretty clear choice. You need to change your phone numbers, change your cell phones, change everything where you cannot get in contact with each other. You need to do the same thing. You need to respect that. And you need to get help, which I'm saying I'll get for you. I will get that for you. And you too. Help and support for you. But right now, the thing to do is for you two not to go in and sit next to each other on the couch and have some marital therapy. That's not what you need to do right now.
I agree.
This marriage is on fire. But you need to do some fire fighting, not prevention. You need to put it out. It's on fire right now. You need to put the fire out. And you've got to get your legs up on you. You've got to get a backbone about you. And you've got to stand up for yourself. You've got to stand up for yourself, stand up for your children. Can this marriage work? I don't know. I don't know if it can. I don't know if it should. But what I know is your children deserve 100% of their mother. Focused, committed, loving herself and loving them. So you've got to find your legs. You've got to get some strength to you. You've given your power away to this man. You've got to take it back. Okay? And I'll help you do that.
Thank you.
And I will help you as well. Whatever needs to happen, whatever support is there. But you've got to make a commitment that you need to get help and not be poisoning this woman's life. You need to get help so you're not infecting people with this addiction, with this sexual exploitation? Are you willing to do that?
Yes, I
If I
am.
arrange that, will you do it?
Yeah, yes, I will.
And will you leave her alone?
Yeah, no, see, we've been through this several times, and what happens, it's not just me that calls her and how, I mean, it's back and forth.
I didn't ask
one
you what
breaks.
she was going to do. I asked you what you were willing to commit to. Are you willing to say, I will get help and leave this woman and her family alone? You are an interloper. You are a transgressor. You are a burglar. And you need to get out of her house, get out of her family, get out of her life. You can't control what she does. You can only control what you do. That's all I'm asking you. And I will get you help to make that come true. I will get you the help. I will get you the support to help you do that, to find that strength, to find that control. But you have to be a willing spirit. Because if you go in there and just try to con, manipulate, and lie to the help I get you, hell, I ain't gonna waste my time. If you're not going to be a willing spirit, then you're on your own. I'm just asking, will you be a willing spirit in leaving this woman alone?
Yes, I will.
Don't you want him to leave you alone? I mean, I know that there is a part of you that feels that, but it's either, you're going to make a choice. You're either going to choose your family and your children, or you're going to choose him, because you can't have both. You know that. You know you can't have both. It's going to get fractured. You're either going to heal it or you're going to fracture it. That's your choice. Certainly after being here, I mean, we can call you Mother Teresa if we want to, but you know what's going on here. And you've got to make that choice. So what do you want?
I want him to leave me alone.
I'm sorry?
I want him to leave me alone.
Bottom line is, you're going to put your arms around him, you're going to put your arms around your children. There's not room for both. I wouldn't think that would be a hard choice.
It's not.
We'll be right back. You're going to put your arms around him, you're going to put your arms around your children. There's not room for both. I wouldn't think that would be a hard choice.
It's not.